Live on here. Let's see if I can do this. You're live. Okay, awesome. We are live. And we're going. Cool. So I'm going to try to have you be in. There we go. We're doing this. Look at us. Okay. Can you see yourselves?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. And then let me just turn the volume up so hopefully those streaming live can also hear you. And do we have anyone even watching? Okay, we do. We have 5 people going so far. Alrighty. So don't mind every night. I first I was gonna do my Stony Brook mug every night, but I think I saw my Dunder Mifflin one and I had to do it. So alrighty. Hi everybody. My name is Carrie. Carrie Mahoney. I'm one of the assistant directors in the Center for Prevention and Outreach. And then I have 2 friends with me tonight. You want to introduce yourselves?
Hi, my name is Sahar, and I'm an outreach assistant at CPO.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ashley. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm also an outreach assistant for CPO.
Awesome. And so the 3 of us are here tonight as part of tonight's part 1, but really part 3 of our Healing Arts opening weekend activities. And tonight we are going to be doing a DIY hair mask. So for anyone who wasn't able to pick up a little Healing Arts supply kit either yesterday or the day before, it's 2 simple ingredients. It's equal parts cinnamon and coconut oil. So if you have those 2 products, you're good to go. If you don't have coconut oil, really any type of oil could be used. And so we will get into that in a little bit. But before we get going with that, especially for any of our new students, we wanted to let you know a little bit about CPO and what we do. And then Ashley and Sahar are going to talk about their experiences with CPO and what it means to work there and how you might want to get involved as well. So CPO stands for the Center for Prevention and Outreach. We're located in the Student Union, Suite 108. There is not currently a sign above our door, but soon there will be. And so we recently just moved over there, as well as ways you can contact us, social media, which we'll talk a little bit more about later, as well as our Facebook page, so stonybrook.edu. Our website, stonybrook.edu/CPO. So CPO focuses really on the health and wellness of our student community. We talk a lot about 3 major things: education, empowering, and connecting. And so these are the words we use to describe what we do. We like to educate students about topics including mental health, physical health, interpersonal violence and healthy relationships, as well as substance abuse prevention. And so our goal is really to provide non-judgmental information and have conversations with, of course, our peers, but also professional staff members about these topic areas. And the whole goal of us in terms of educating the campus community about these topics is really to empower everyone to make healthy decisions when it comes to their health and their well-being. And then finally, that connect piece is really, we're trying to connect students, obviously all to each other, but also with on and off campus resources. Building a support system when you first get to Stony Brook is really important, and it really does help you succeed, not just at Stony Brook, but in, I would guess, say, outside world or adult life. But yeah, so that's a very brief overview of what we do. We have tons of events. Healing Arts is one of them. We have bystander trainings, et cetera, et cetera. We'll talk about those tonight. While we're doing our hair mask, we'll be talking a lot about self-care, asking people how they practice. But to start us off, Sahar, do you want to talk about your experience in CPO and maybe like some of your favorite things about it?
Yeah, so I started interning at CPO when I was in my sophomore year, and I was a fellow, and being a fellow and working with CPO helped me reach out to lots of different types of students to teach them about specifically Green Dot, because that's what I was kind of specializing under. So we focused on teaching students about healthy relationships and potentially unhealthy signs of unhealthy relationships. And after I was interning, then I started working with CPO, and I really was able to build on a lot of different skills, like curriculum development, for example. April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, so we were able to have a lot of different programs, and I was able to actually create a workshop to focus on differences between stress and trauma. So it really helped me grow and build on my skills and also be able to connect with students about different aspects of being on campus and working with each other to help create a safer and more educated community that's also more supportive.
Yeah, awesome. And the workshop was amazing. BT dubs. All right. Ash, what do you had going on?
So I started CPO at the same time as Sahar. We were in the same cohort of interns. And I also was on the green team side. And it truly has been one of the best experiences of my life working at CPO. This is, what is this, our third year now? Is that correct? That's math? Yeah? Okay. Yeah, and it's been super rewarding. I think one of my favorite parts of the whole job is getting the chance to really feel like I'm making a difference in these areas, especially because I specifically started doing after working with CPO, I became an ambassador for the One Love Foundation. And basically what they do is they teach signs of like domestic violence and that kind of situations, and like hosting trainings like that and really getting the chance to see the impact it makes has been such an amazing opportunity. And then networking like outside of Stony Brook in these areas, it's truly just been an awesome experience, and I've grown into myself, and the environment of CPO is truly amazing and very empowering. So yeah, it's definitely an amazing place to be.
Awesome. Just out of curiosity, both for the two of you and as well as any of our viewers, feel free to answer this in the chat. Did anybody have experience in high school doing either outreach or peer education or anything like that? And if you didn't do it, do you at least know if your school offered anything like that? I'm always curious to hear if people have like high school experience doing education.
We had SAD at my school, the Student Against Destructive Decisions. I didn't really get involved with it in my high school because it was kind of not very structured the way it was run.
Okay.
But there wasn't a ton like offered at my school.
Yeah, same experience. We didn't have that much promotion of being aware of different types of healthy coping mechanisms, and I think it's really important in high school, so it could have been a lot better with that, but I'm happy that Stony Brook is offering that and promoting that.
Yeah. Awesome.
I think getting education for like the younger generations in high school can make a huge difference for when they do go to college and go further in life. It's really a get them young situation. I think is better. I wish we could do more with younger groups.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't remember if it was yesterday on Healing Arts. Honestly, all of the workshops the last few days are blending together, so I apologize, everyone, if I'm repeating myself to the same group of people. But one of the things I think is awesome is that even if like, so it sucks when we didn't learn all this stuff in high school, right? We always look back, of course, hindsight is 2020, and we're like, oh, I wish I had known this. And of course, we can eventually grow up and be in roles where we can kind of influence that change. But I think what's awesome is like, even if we're just learning it right now, whether you're an incoming student, either freshman or transfer student, or you've been here for 4 or 5 years and you're about to graduate, it's still like learning any of the topics within CPO, but especially like learning that self-care and how to like take time and put energy into yourself. If we learn that now, we can at least teach like a few of our friends in the meantime, right? Like, I think that's where I'm going with that. Is that like we can still, even though we didn't get to learn it when we were younger, if we're learning it now, it's still just as helpful. But I'm just always so curious, like, because I think my high school was the same, and I'm going to date myself. I think that was 10 years ago. But in high school, it was really just the same thing. They only really had SAD. But it's so, peer education is so important because as cool as I like to think I am, everybody, I know you'd rather hear from a peer who has like more recently lived through the experience versus someone who's reflecting back on their life. So, all right.
I love the experience of like working with other students, especially like, I love the when they bring like the energy of like enthusiasm of wanting to learn about these things. But honestly, something I love too, the people that are kind of skeptical about it, kind of getting them to turn from like learning from a workshop or anything, that's one of my favorite things. And then all of a sudden they become a volunteer and it's like, oh, hey.
Mm-hmm. Getting people to change their mind for the positive is the best thing in the world. I remember
amazing. It's an amazing feeling.
I did a workshop once for a group of students, and a student, we were talking a lot about like Adderall and like study drugs. And so in the thing, all I said, like not even directly to a student, but to a group of students, I said, oh, like when it comes to Adderall, we all think that if you take Adderall that you're going to get A's or you're going to be able to study more and things like that. And so I explained that you can never take an exam twice. So the first time you take Adderall, if you end up getting an A or either on the paper or on the exam that you were using it for, then you're going to attribute that A to the drug, but you're not going to attribute it to like all the hard work you put in before that. And so in your brain, you start a cycle that says, oh, I need the Adderall to get the good grades. So I explained this to the students. And then the next time I saw them a year later, the student was like, I just want you to know, after you talk to the group about Adderall, I actually stopped using it. And I realized you were right. All I thought I could do, like the person only believed that they could get good grades because of the Adderall. I was like, yes, this is a victory moment. It was so great. But anyway. Speaking of alcohol and drugs, that is, like we were saying before, one of the topic areas we cover in CPO. And it's an important topic area to talk about, I think, when it comes to self-care, because self-care can be positive. Self-care is positive, but the way we take care of ourselves and the way we cope with things, we could have negative coping mechanisms, one of which being alcohol or drug use. So in the chat, feel free to talk to us about either any alcohol or drug education you've had before, myths maybe that your friends or your peers believe when it comes to alcohol or drug use and how it impacts life. And then for Ashley and Sahar, what do you guys see when it comes to your friends or your peers in terms of negative coping skills? Because I think it's not, like, we don't want to spend all day talking about negative coping skills, but I think it's important to point out some of the ones that might not be as healthy, because we sometimes think they're healthy when they're not.
I know, I mean, I can even say like myself, something I do sometimes if I'm overly stressed, I kind of like shut myself out. And it's like, I know I shouldn't do that. I know I should like turn to people and let them support me. But I kind of like, I don't even realize I do it. It's all of a sudden I'll get, like, it was actually over quarantine when classes were when they were online. I had a friend, he was like, I haven't heard from you in a month. Are you okay? And I was like, oh, yeah. So I try to like work on that now, but it's something that I catch myself doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can relate with that too, because when things get overwhelming, I just want to focus on controlling like what's going on in my space, and a little bit of that isolation is okay, but then you get so much comfort in that isolation that you don't realize that your other relationships or even your relationship with yourself might be getting hurt with that.
Yeah, absolutely. There's always that fine line between what is a coping skill and now what's a red flag, right? We talk about this a lot in CPO, what like red flags are in terms of like maybe needing a little bit of extra help. But I think that sometimes, and we kind of alluded to this yesterday, so like taking one night to binge watch whatever you're watching on Netflix at the time is like okay, but then realizing that like you're binge watching Netflix every time you're stressed out because you're like trying to use it to like avoid your work, that's when we're starting to be like, oh wait, hold on. Like any what we would consider good positive coping mechanism at some point could turn into being not the best thing, right? It could be turning into like a little bit of like a red flag, like, oh no, we gotta watch out.
I actually mentioned yesterday during one of our healing nights, one of my things to like de-stress is I like clean or reorganize things.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I use it to avoid doing things I should be doing. I'm like, I'm being productive, so it's fine. But in those moments, that's not what I should be doing.
Yep. Does anybody else who's watching, feel free to put it in the chat. Is there anything that you do that sometimes you're like, oh wait, maybe this is like a little much? My example is Excel sheets. I love Excel sheets. Like, this is so nerdy of me, but and like anybody who works in CPO knows this. Like, I love to like organize things and like to be the person to be like, okay, like this is how we could do this, like policy, steps, procedures. And then I realize though, like sometimes I get so excited about them that then I actually start stressing myself out because I need it to be super color coordinated, and then I can't pick out if I like the size 8 or size 10 font, and then I'm like, okay, wait a second, this is no longer like fun and making me feel good and like helping me, be organized and process life. It's now just becoming a little too much.
I get that completely.
Mhm. All right, so I was thinking we start making our hair masks since we're talking about coping mechanisms. One good thing to do is taking some time for yourself and obviously relaxing and finding things that make you feel good. So let me just move my coffee over there. That's not coffee. I just kidding. That's tea. No way I would drink coffee at 8 o'clock at night. So again, for any friends who are just joining us, tonight we were doing the DIY hair mask. Ash and Sahar, did you get kits?
I forgot to take one.
Oh.
I'm gonna come get one and rewatch these to do it.
All right. Well, if you don't have it, no big deal. Anyone who doesn't have it, if you want to follow along, it's just equal parts cinnamon and coconut oil. And like I said before, if you don't have coconut oil, you can just really use any type of oil. And what we're doing tonight is, like I said, a hair mask. So I just have like a little bowl. I'm gonna pour both things in. You can warm your coconut oil if it's not already to get it more into a liquid form. That will be a little bit easier to kind of really stir the excuse me, I was gonna say pumpkin spice. Stir the cinnamon into it, and then kind of you can put it on your hair. I'll be totally honest, I'm not gonna put it on my hair tonight because I just got my hair done yesterday, and I'm trying to ride out that like new hairstyle thing where you don't have to like really do your hair for a few days. No worries. I see everyone. I was rearranging. No worries at all. Okay, so feel free to heat up the coconut oil if you want. If you don't want to heat up the coconut oil, you don't have to. It just might be like a little bit thicker. If you heat it, it's more of like a serum. Have you guys, Ashley and Sarah, ever used like a serum before or like an oil on your hair?
Yes.
Okay.
My hair is kind of thick, so I definitely need to put an oil in it.
Yep.
Yeah. Do hair like scalp exfoliations and like hair masks kind of like frequently.
Okay.
Because my hair is very thick and there's a lot of it, so I gotta
Yes. I think my favorite part about doing either hair masks or like really anything on my scalp is like trying to do it and then like, I know this might sound silly, but visualizing while I do it. I love to like put it on and then like imagine that like somehow it's like pulling out any of the negative energy from my brain.
That's a really good thing actually to do. You can do that just in the shower. Just kind of imagine that the water is just like cleansing your entire being. I've gotten very spiritual recently. So it's a really great thing to like just do to like feel cleansed. It feels so good when you just put the intention there. It's amazing.
Oh, absolutely. For anyone who's watching, let us know if you ever do anything with intentions, or if you practice any type of visualizations. Because again, everything kind of gets wrapped up into self-care, but especially when we're doing things like face masks, face scrubs, hair masks, etc. If you can like visualize negativity leaving the body and like positivity coming in, I think it genuinely like starts to help you. All right. Speaking of hair masks, what kind of have you done any DIY ones?
I've done DIY ones before. I just have very sensitive skin, so I have to be very careful with what I do. But I can't remember I've used different ones. I've used charcoal hair masks. Those ones are really nice.
Okay.
I tried that one time, yeah. It was interesting. It was weird.
It tingled a lot. I was like,
yeah. Really? So what is it completely made out of? Also, I'm listening. I'm just microwaving. I'll be right back. But it's like straight up charcoal in your hair?
It's like charcoal and like other stuff like mixed, so it's more like a paste kind of thing. I think that's the best way to explain it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very paste-like and thick and
kind of just like go for it.
Yeah.
And I use this exfoliator for my scalp. I do it like once a week, and it just made my hair like, because my hair would get really greasy like very quickly. And it's funny because my skin is so dry, so very
off the ends of them.
Yeah. Well, I started doing the exfoliation, like I would go a day without washing my hair and it would get greasy. Now my hair is healthier since I started exfoliating.
That's great. Yeah. I feel like the charcoal that they use for hair masks is very like porous, so that really helps with removing like the dead skin and anything else that might be clogging in your scalp. So
Exactly.
All right.
I love the feeling of like, when you like shampoo your hair after a hair mask and it feels like cleaning.
You feel lighter.
Yeah. It's like, everything's good again.
The balance is restored.
Truly, yeah.
Just the happiness in your faces and your voices while they're talking about this just goes to show like how important like these things are. Like just like if even if it just brings like happiness to you in the moment, and that's like, you know, just a little bit, but then like when you think back and you're this happy about it, like clearly it's something that it's worth doing. Like it's bringing light to your life.
I love the feeling of like a nice, good shower, but like a full shower, like a full skincare, full everything. Just go for it. It's the relax. And then, you know the feeling when you get into bed after?
Yeah, that's what I look for.
Plus, if you have clean sheets.
Feeling of earth.
I think the best thing ever is like you do the whole process and then you get into the bed and it's clean sheets and the blanket is warm because it's like fresh out of the dryer. Woo! Those are nights that I'm gonna sleep very well. I love those kind of nights.
And the room is like that temperature where it's like it's cold enough but not too cold, where you're like cozy. I need one of those sleeps.
I think what's awesome. Ooh, sorry, everyone. I almost knocked down that. I think like the best thing about it is that because obviously it's not something you do every single night, although like some people have like intense nightly regimens, because it like doesn't happen as often. When it does happen, it's like, yes, this is perfect. Talking about this actually really makes me want to do it tonight now. Sorry, Ash, what were you gonna say?
Oh, no. Sometimes when I'm like extra stressed out, I will purposefully take like an hour-long shower, but do everything just like head to toe, full just like routine. And it's I walk out, I'm like, I'm a new person. I have washed all away.
Yep. It's funny. I can actually, and my husband notices it too. I can tell when I'm too like when my emotions aren't like feeling great, because I'll take like, which is kind of the opposite of sometimes for some red flags. And this is just to show how everyone's red flags and their norm is different. When I'm showering too much, Andrew will be like, sorry, Andrew's the husband. Andrew will be like, you okay? Something's going on. I'm like, yeah, why? He's like, usually when you shower that often, like whether it's like maybe like twice a day or something, he's like, it's usually because you're stressed and you're trying to use the shower as like an avoidance tactic. And I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. And he's like, so are you okay? And I'm like, all right. And then it's just like me sobbing for like, you know, a solid hour, and then we'll be like, we work through it, everything's okay. But like a good hot shower, it's my favorite. Oh, I wish you could all smell this.
The same thing. It's normally it tends to be. It's like normally you shower less, is what you see when somebody's like having like hard time mentally. I'm the opposite. It's what I'll do is I'll sit on the shower floor. That's what I do, and I'll sit there for like 30 minutes, and then I'm like, I should get up. That's how I do it.
Yep, totally understand. So for anyone who's following along and making this right now, it smells amazing. It really just makes me want for it to be fall. I don't want summer to be over, and I don't want to get like cooped up back inside with cold weather, but this just smells very, very good. I don't know if you guys were talking about this at all about yesterday, in terms of like essential oils. Any like favorite smells that like when you smell it, it actually like calms you down or like brings you to a place where you're kind of mindful?
For me, it's lavender.
I make like blends. I have like an essential oil box that are like painted. I do one of my favorite ones. I use vanilla, peppermint, lavender, and frankincense together.
Okay.
It's a really nice combo. It's just very like warm and like fresh, and it just kind of calms me down.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
What's the
good? Because the vanilla and the frankincense are nice with like those warm kind of smells, and then the lavender and the peppermint are more like brighter. So it's a good combo. 10 out of 10 would recommend.
I think peppermint's good. I like peppermint. I really love I don't know why I can't remember the name of it. Eucalyptus. There we go. Like anything from like Bath and Body Works that's like eucalyptus scented, sign me up. Like candle body scrub. They have the now I'm not trying to sell for Bath and Body Works, obviously. But they have those they like aromatherapy like lotions and body scrubs and stuff. And I forget I think it's literally called Stress Relief is like the name of it. And it says like eucalyptus something. I forgot what eucalyptus and maybe spearmint or something, but yeah, lavender is a good one too. I feel like you can't go wrong with lavender.
It's fun fact. This is actually a baby wash that I use. Mm-hmm. It's a lavender and chamomile body wash to use before bed.
Oh,
when you're showering, and it helps me sleep a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's really nice.
I think it really
is. It's great.
That in like a pillow mist form would be perfect. Have you guys heard of these pillow mist things?
Yes, I've wanted to like make them. So I have like face oil bottles that are like empty, and I really want to like make blends and stuff to like put on my pillow and stuff like that really bad.
Yeah. Oh, I think they're so cool. Like, because then like so this now we're just describing like the perfect self-care night. One, definitely a delicious dinner and a little snack if you like something sweet. Then I would say taking a nice long hot shower where you use some type of essential oil smelling body scrub because like the hot water plus the like good smelling stuff just like releases right up. And then getting into like clean sheets, somewhat warm blanket with a pillow that has a little pillow mist. Bless you.
Yeah.
Of course.
And then like a nice like warm drink.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
a warm drink. That's great.
For warm bedtime drinks, any preferences? Any favorite things that you love?
I love tea or hot chocolate personally.
Hot chocolate.
Lately, one thing that I started was using almond milk, honey, and cinnamon, and kind of mixing that together when it's a little bit warm. Yeah.
Oh my god, that sounds amazing.
Sounds good.
The honey kind of is really soothing, and like I feel calmer with that. So.
What kind of almond milk? Is it vanilla? I'm guessing.
I use unsweetened, but you can use vanilla.
Yeah. Unsweetened. I'm writing this down.
Milk, honey, and what was the last?
And cinnamon. Yeah.
Okay.
And if you have like cardamom, and you like crush that up and put a little bit of cardamom in there too, so you get a little bit of like that warmth.
What is that? I don't know what that means. What that is?
Oh,
is that an herb?
I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. I think my thing just cut out. Hold on. Is that like a spice or something? What is that?
Oh, yeah. It's like let's see. It's like it's a spice. It's from seeds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't know. I think you can probably buy it like at like in the spice aisle in a grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's perfect. I just wrote down that recipe.
A lot of like calming respiratory and like digestive benefits if you use it like as an essential oil, because like I use it for essential oil, so I know that one.
Nice. Very cool.
When Lisa in the chat said scents like lilies and other floral stuff, and like the smell of rain. I love that smell.
Yes.
But also green tea with lemon, cinnamon, ginger, cloves, cardamom, and honey.
That is good. I like that. That's really good. I feel like just putting this coconut oil and cinnamon thing together really has like all my senses going right now. Like the smell is like really intense, drinking my like warm tea. I'm like, oh, this is amazing. Speaking of rain, what are people's favorite sounds? Because clearly we're just going through all our senses right now in terms of what makes us feel good and what calms us down. I love playing YouTube videos where it's just like a rainforest or like rain going in the background. What are some sounds or noises that you like that help calm you?
I love rain. I love the sound of like clicking. So like, like mechanical keyboards. I love listening to those. I don't know why. It's just a thing. Yeah. It's just one of my things. Or I love listening to like piano, just like piano instrumentals. Those calm me down more than anything. And then, you have a piano instrumental with the rain over it. over. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like thunderstorms and rain too, or even like the sound of like a creek or a river with like stones that like the water they're hitting the stone that's running. Yeah, and then someone, Emily in the chat said ACs that go burr. So like,
oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm a fan. White noise. I can't sleep with that.
Yeah.
I have to say, after we lost power during the storm, that one of my favorite noises in the world was hearing the AC go kaboom, and click on. And then I think that was the first time, Emily, that I noticed that AC, the noise going I was like, oh yeah, it's definitely a calming noise for me now.
I can't sleep if it's too quiet. So when we didn't have power, you know those old spray handheld fans you could use?
Yeah.
I had one of those going at night when it's too quiet.
I love that. That's awesome.
Lamisa said she loves crunchy food ASMR. Interesting.
I'm gonna be totally honest. I never got into the ASMR stuff. But I can see it being helpful.
Yeah.
I think the one I listened to was a little odd though. That might have been. I think I just got a bad taste in my mouth for the first one, but that's okay.
I don't really like the ones where people are whispering. It just kind of makes me uncomfortable.
Uh-huh.
But when they're making sounds, certain ones, I'm very my ears are very sensitive, so that's why I like clicking and those kinds of sounds. Lamisa said it hit something in me. Yeah, that makes sense. There's certain ones that just they do really do that.
Yeah. All right, so we talked about smell, hearing, taste. Is there anything, whether it's a meal or it's a specific flavor, that when you taste it, it makes you want to take a deep breath, or it makes you want to be like, oh, life is okay? Any flavors or taste?
So there's one, just in general, my mom's cooking. Anything she makes, if I take a bite of it, everything's fine again. Or a very warm chocolate chip cookie.
Fresh out of the oven? Oh, yes.
Oh, that sounds really good.
Right?
I agree. My mom's cooking, and I think mashed potatoes, like a very heavy, warm carb. I like that.
Yes. Yes.
Or a nice, big piece of bread with a good, a buttered, bagel. Oh,
I know that, I can tell when, not that I'm stressed, but, that I'm not feeling 100%, when I find myself craving mashed potatoes for some reason. Mashed potatoes really is, I guess it's just because it's a warm carb, but the want and the need for something warm and cooked in front of you, not a delivery kind of thing, and not obviously straight up cooked in front of you, but eaten quickly after being cooked. That's just warm and good and filling, where you just have one or two bites and you're just oh, okay, right, though everything's gonna be okay.
Good comfort food.
Yes.
That's really what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Lamisa said watermelons.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, a freshly cut up watermelon just brings a lot of very warm memories for me from childhood. So I love that.
Fresh fruit in general. Watermelon, I think, is probably my favorite, feel good fresh cut. I think because it also symbolizes, like you were just saying, it symbolizes summer. It's it's sunshine. I think sunshine is so important. Feeling warmth on your body. It's oh, okay, I like this.
What else? Fresh grapes when they have that crunch. Yeah, very refreshing.
Yep. I feel also my mashed potatoes and warm kind of full meal is definitely something. But I feel each season I have there's a signature flavor. Of course, fall being pumpkin spice, but there's a signature thing that I'm looking forward to, and I'm okay, this signifies this season, and I get very happy when the seasons change. I get very excited, and then I get impatient, and then I'm all right, the season has been lasting too long. You can get to the next one. But I'm not the best with transitions, but the transition of seasons, I am all about. But
No, I fully get that. I love my favorite time of year is fall, and when the leaves start changing, it's like I feel my insides like buzzing. Like I'm so excited.
Yep.
That's what I'm looking forward to. Yeah.
I'm waiting. I told myself September 1st, I can decorate the house with my fall decorations.
I'm so excited to decorate. Oh, Halloween is my favorite time of year. It's gonna be so fun.
Mm-hmm. I'm definitely bummed that we won't be able to do our haunted house this year, but well, it's okay. We can think of a clever way to do a virtual haunted house.
That's true. We can make breakout rooms, and you kind of gotta go through.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wait, I think we're on to something. Let's we're gonna revisit this.
Zoom escape rooms are a thing too.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
Doom. Do something with Doom, like escape Zoom with Zoom or something.
Zoom from Zoom.
So this is a perfect example of how it works in CPO, especially with our students. Somebody comes up with a random idea, and then we're like, wait, and then we just keep building on it, and that's how most of our like workshops and events end up.
And then 2 weeks later, it's a large scale event, and we don't know how we did it.
Yep. Well, that's literally how the haunted house started. We were doing a retreat, so whenever we have peer educators, we bring everyone together usually once or twice a year. And so we were going out in groups of, what was it, like 2 or 4 to do a walk around Roth Pond. And somebody was like, doesn't it feel like we're letting people walk into a haunted house? And then we were like, oh my God, imagine we made a haunted house that was kind of like alcohol themed. And then all of a sudden we were like, wait a second. And then that was in August. And by October, we had like a 7-room haunted house with like 500 people walking through it. It was, that's how.
It was fun. That was the same thing when we did the Fall Fest. The first time we did it. We pulled that off in like 2 weeks with Peace. I remember that.
Yeah. So always come get involved. Speaking of which, this is like I guess a good time to do like almost like a sales pitch. We do have a few spots for new students. So any new students, whether you're a freshman or a transfer student, we reserve a few spots in our peer education programs. A few in each different topic area. So if you're interested at all, I'm going to throw my email in the chat. Feel free to shoot me an email and we'll send you the application, because you can be hanging out with us, having this awesome little virtual night, as well as doing other fun things too, like creating social media campaigns and graphics for social media, educational material, hosting trivia nights and bingos and workshops. So I will put that in there right now. My email address.
It's a place to be to really feel like you make a difference working at CPO. It's very empowering. It's amazing.
I'm obviously a huge Grey's Anatomy fan. I don't know why I said obviously. I am a big Grey's Anatomy fan. Why that was obvious, I wouldn't know. But I love being like, I don't say it about myself, but I say it about our students all the time. Like, we're saving lives here. Like, even if it doesn't always feel like that, and even if not everybody agrees, the work that our students do is really amazing, and the work that some of you who are even in the chat right now do, like, we're genuinely saving lives. It might not seem like that in front of us, but even as small as someone saying like, oh, I stopped using Adderall before I take my exams, that's a big deal. Or someone who said, I intervened in a situation and I called for help when somebody might have been in a sexual violence type of situation, or if someone who had too much to drink, or any person who takes QPR and then asks somebody, hey, are you suicidal? Do you need help? Like, you're literally saving someone's life. You're changing the outcome of what was going on in that situation, which I think is really powerful. So major kudos to Sahar and Ashley. Thank you guys for all the work you do.
I've actually had experiences with Red Watchman training. Like, I have actually saved people, and I've had people all of a sudden, like, they know I've been involved with it, and they're like, we need your help. And I'm like, what? And then I've been the reason they actually call for help and go for everything. And it's a weird feeling when you have that impact, but it's very rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
And you can actually see like a ripple effect too sometimes. Like, I've had someone refer CPO to me. I'm like, that's my job. Yeah, it comes back to you, and it makes you feel so good because the message got through, and the fact that someone's recommending it, it means that they've actually been felt changed by it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Also, side note, Carrie, I actually just started watching Grey's Anatomy. I'm almost on season 4.
Oh, big Grey's fan. That's a big fan right here. Like, yeah. I've also recently got really into Madam's Secretary. So that's another good show. One thing about Grey's, and I'm sure other people sometimes do this too, but I'm like, I'm 16 seasons into Grey's. I'm basically a doctor. Like, combine my MPH degree, like, how am I not a doctor? I don't understand. One time we were, my friend and I were like in our car, and there was a car accident on the bridge that goes to Robert Moses. And somebody were kind of like running down and was like, is anybody a nurse or a doctor? Can someone help? And I was sitting there and I was like, oh, Carrie, no, you're not actually a doctor. Just because, like, in my head though, I was like so ready. I was like, oh, okay, like I know what I would do. I can do first aid. And then I was like, no, I can't. I'm not actually a doctor. And then like the car behind us had a legitimate doctor in it, and I was like, oh, yeah, she's probably a lot more equipped at saving this person than I am. In wrap-up news, I realized I always tell that story and I never give the ending. Everyone went to the hospital and everybody was fine, so we're good. But
we have to ask, do we know the ending?
Yes. Yeah. I had some insider knowledge, so I was able to figure out. I was like, is there any way you can make sure those people were okay? And they're like, yeah, they were fine. I was like, oh, okay, cool. We personally weren't in the accident. It was like 3 cars ahead of us, so we were just stopped on the bridge. But anyway, okay. Before we end the night, because it's already 8:45, that went way faster than I thought it was going to basically wrap up our like awesome talking about self-care, kind of planning your perfect night, including hair mask and maybe a face scrub and things like that. We did flavors, smells, sounds. What are your other senses? Sights and touch. All right, those are the other 2. So we talked a little bit about touch and feeling in terms of like the temperature in the room and stuff like that. Visually, is there any images, whether it's scenery, mandala, any images that really make you say, like, help you exhale, let you breathe? I like how I said makes you say, that's not a word, but any visuals that help calm you or center you or ground you?
I love a sunrise or a sunset. Yeah. Watching it, there's something so peaceful about watching it.
Yeah, I agree with Ashley. That, and especially if there's like a beach or like some water, I love to see like the waves crash onto the shore.
That's
the water at the same time.
Yeah.
It's all connected.
That's another sound too, though. Waves crashing. I like the sound of waves crashing. I can listen to that for a while too. Yeah. I think visually, what are some things I like? Yeah, I think mostly scenery kind of things. Like, I love the YouTube. Like, I know they're some people consider them corny. I don't. But like the YouTube videos that are like 3 hours long, and it's just like different sceneries going past, and you just like are listening to like calming music the whole time. It's nature sceneries.
I love the ones where it's places where you can basically see the whole Milky Way in the sky and like seeing the stars. That brings me so much peace. And then honestly, also seeing the people that I love smile. There's something about that really makes me happy.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, that's awesome. All right, and then what did Lemissa say? Nature scenery. So comic green, anything green and floral. Yes. Yeah. Oh, I love like one place that I love to be in is my garden, which I know we can't always have, especially if we're dorming at school and whatnot. But being physically in nature is, for me, one thing that like it's just very like relaxing, and this thing, because you're kind of then using all your senses at one time. Like if you're in nature, you're smelling what's around you, you're hearing all the different noises. I feel like that's always
the sunlight.
Yeah.
It's very grounding.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Awesome. All right, friends. Well, I know today's activity wasn't something that took a ton of time because we simply just mixed together our coconut oil and our cinnamon. In terms of how to use it later, unless you already started using it, all you really have to do is put it up on your scalp. You want to kind of massage it in. Of course, a nice massage every once in a while is also an awesome self-care thing. They can get pricey, but you can do a scalp massage to yourself, so you don't have to pay for it. So massaging the mask in, And then you usually want to let it sit for about 5 to 10 minutes or so. I suggest that when you're sitting there, letting it sit in, except I can't even talk about these different S's and C's right now. While you're sitting there letting it set in, because it's made with cinnamon, I think one thing that you should try to practice, or something that could be fun, is really like taking deep breaths while you're massaging it in and while you're letting it wait before you wash it out. Both being mindful of like your breathing, but then while you're breathing, focusing in on, okay, what do I smell right now? Okay, I smell the cinnamon. What do I feel right now? Okay, it might be itchy. It shouldn't be itchy, but if you have sensitive scalp, it might be itchy. But you might be thinking, okay, like I feel lightness, or I feel smoothness in my hair, or whatever you're feeling, and kind of picking one sense at a time, and working through that and focusing only on that can really be helpful. Alrighty. I need to stop trying to talk and read the chat at the same time, because I'd be in the middle of a sentence and I'm just like, and this person said, okay. But anyway, any final thoughts for tonight in terms of any of the things we really talked about, either kind of setting in terms of visualization, self-care, or really focusing in on what calms you?
I think just know to check in with yourself, see what works for you, learn, I think exactly what we were just doing, kind of thinking about the things that really make us happy or ground us. It's things I didn't even realize, and they bring a lot of happiness just thinking about them. So take some time to just think about things that you love.
Yeah, exactly what Ashley said. And, the more you practice it, the easier you'll get to practice it too, and turn to that healthy coping mechanism when you're feeling stressed. So keeping that in mind, it's important to practice it.
Yeah. And also, make sure you check out CPO. See what you can get involved with us. Shameless plug.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, friends. I think practicing it, bringing your attention to yourself, and affording yourself grace and patience, and then also time to take care of yourself is super important. And I think, Sahar, I'm obsessed with the fact that you said practice. It really is a practice. It's not something you just wake up and you're good at. And I think we had talked about yesterday, not everybody was told since birth to take care of yourself and practice self-compassion and do all these positive things for yourself. So it's something that you have to work for, but then eventually, just like any other habit, it's something that you become accustomed to, and you kind of start to realize okay, I can tell when I'm not feeling great, and I know good things that make me happy, that if I can do this for tonight, I can get through, I'll be okay. And then you'll actually feel good and be able to actually, I don't want to say give more of yourself, but Chris had mentioned it yesterday. You can't give if there's nothing left in you. And so you can actually give more to the world when you're taking care of yourself as well.
You really cannot pour from an empty cup.
Yeah.
That's the great thing.
Yeah. And yeah, I see that happen just so many times with people of literally all ages, where friends or family members are talking to me, and I'm just like, when was the last time you did anything for yourself? Specifically, my sister, give me the kids. I'll take care of them for a night. You go do your thing, girl. You need a break. So be mindful, obviously, for yourself. And then also use this information, like we said, and bring it back to your friends. And if you notice a friend being stressed out, remind them it's okay to take some time to take care of themselves, and kind of challenge those thoughts in our head that tell us that it's not acceptable. All right. Cindy, I'm happy you made the cookie in the mug, and I'm happy it came out nicely. It came out great, to use your exact words. But yeah, so once again, Carrie, Ashley, Sahar, we're all here from CPO, and we had a great time hanging out with you tonight. Tune back in about an hour at 10 o'clock. Chris will be back. Are either of you going to be here for that?
I'll be there, yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'll be up early, so I will go to bed.
Good. Ashley will be sleeping, because that is part of self-care. So come back tonight at 10 o'clock. Sahar and Chris will be here, and they will be making very cool DIY lava lamps. If you haven't already, go follow us on social media. We did post the recipe for the lava lamps, as well, of course, as the mask we just did. So if you weren't able to pick up supplies, you have an hour and 10 minutes to go collect some of the things you might need to put together a cool lava lamp. So cool. We love you all very much. We'll see you soon. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody. Bye.